and everybody in the stadium know that you got to throw the football.
Yeah.
You know, that's not fair to the kid.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on, Mr. Sutton.
Rocky had to take that personal call. Is the caller still on?
Yeah. Is the caller still on?
Okay, I guess not. I wanted to ask him a question.
Yeah. The caller. Yo, hold on. I'm gonna swap. I'm gonna swap back to the caller. TJ, you right there, baby? All right, hold on. Let me get you on, TJ. Go ahead, TJ. TJ's still on. We got another call on the line as well.
Okay, well that's fine. Yeah, I think TJ got what he wanted to answer. I'm fine with it. Let's go. Let's go to the next call.
No,
I got one.
Go. You don't have to call back, TJ. Give us a few minutes with Mr. Sargent. Mr. Sargent, you're live on the air.
All right, sir. Gentlemen, good evening, and thank you for taking my call. So, Mr. Campbell, I'm going to direct my question at you because you're a little closer to the team than I am. Take you back a couple of years, coming out of the 2022 season, actually after the first couple of games, Scotty said a phrase that I thought was really interesting. He said, the only team that can beat FAMU is FAMU. And what he meant by that, or what I interpreted that he meant by that was the only team that could beat FAMU is FAMU administration, the way they messed up those young men and their being able to get out there on the field, or they have these self-inflicted wounds of what we saw with the Jackson State game that year. As we look into the 2024 season, do you believe we're at that space where really the only teams we need to be afraid of is really us and then potential administration? Because we're going to probably get a president change, and just want to get your view on, will that have any impact on the team? And are we at the point where, boy, the only people that can really mess us up is us if we do things to shoot ourselves in the foot? That's it.
Well,
thank you, brother.
Well, I want Coach Cole to understand this. FAMU has an advantage, a home court, because we're in the state of Florida. There's a lot of talented players in the state of Florida. And these guys go off to these Power 5 schools. It doesn't work out. And now FAMU has gotten to a level where they want to come to FAMU. That's talent. That's the reason why we have been consistent over the last couple of years. So I'm not worrying about the administration. I'm not worrying about the AD, because we are still recruiting at a very high level. Kids want to come to FAMU. We turn down kids from other schools in the SWAC because we had so much talent. Quay Davis just left FAMU to go to Southern. So he probably saw that wide receiver room and said, I'm probably not going to play here. So that lets you know how much talent that we have. So yeah, I'm just being honest. Quay Davis has gone to Southern. He was at FAMU. We are deep at receiver from my understanding and everything. So again, when you're looking at that, yeah, but you still got to play the games. You still got to play games. But my point of it is, when you have a level of confidence of being able to win close games, have been together, and say, to Coach Cole's point, he said, hey, Willie will dial up, or Rocky, you said it. But what also those players say, hey, man, we've been in this situation before. Everybody relax. Everybody calm down. That means something for a championship team. So that's the reason what my point is, and that's the reason why I keep saying that.
Yeah, and I go back to what I said about FAMU was this. FAMU has that bullet on their back now, and that bullseye on their back. And without Willie, how are they going to navigate that? In essence, this is what I'm thinking, Coach, is that this is going to be tougher this year to win the SWAC than it was last year with Willie, for the simple fact that they are hunted. They were the hunters last year. They wanted that championship really bad. Now that Jackson State and Dion had moved on, Jackson State was no longer viable without Dion. And so they felt like it was theirs to lose, and they played like that. This year, with them being the hunted, I just don't think that coaching staff, with all that turnover, is prepared, will have those players prepared for this repeat season. It's often said in sports, repeating is twice as more difficult than actually winning the first championship.
Well, are we the 100? Are we the 100 when you guys got us number 2 and number 3 behind Alabama State, Jackson State? Are we really the 100? See, that's the thing. That's the beauty of it. Are we really the 100? Because people said this team can't win. So that's, again, we're not preseason projected.
Just slow down for a minute. You do have a target on your show. because you won a championship last year. Like you said, these are the defending championships. I played against Florida A&M back in the 90s. They've been great since then. I've seen them long ago. They've always had great athletes. They also had great coaches. And Coach Cozy is not proven yet. He can have a great team. Give me a program over talent every day. So just be careful about, they do have talent. I mean, they're sitting right there in Florida A&M. Everybody recruit Florida. Go ahead, Coach.
Hey, caller, you're live on the air. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yo, this is Sam KJ, man. I was calling in. What's up, Snake?
What up, KJ? What up, brother?
All right. Check this out. I want to ask the panel this right here. Two things. Is there a FAMU bias in that we are the defending champions, right? So Alcorn can actually have the exact same thing as far as the turnover in which we had new coach, everything, and they get voted number one, and they came in second, right? Over Prairie View. FAMU has the same thing, and we still get voted number two. And that's telling me that seems like that's some bias going on. But hey, that's cool because okay, that's
well. Hold up. No, but let me address that bias, right? So you think the situation in the West is equal to the situation in the East, competition wise?
What I'm saying is.
All right, so no, I'm just asking you the question.
Not one time have we said Alcorn gonna win the whole thing. If Alcorn was on the East, they lied to be 4th or 5th.
Yeah,
that's what we said.
So what I'm saying is, it's all about where you in this situation. Matter of fact, there could be an argument that if Bethune-Cookman was over there on the West, they would be vying for. I'm sure Coach Mr. Campbell would make that argument that Bethune-Cookman could be the champions of the West. You know what I mean? Considering the situation over in the West. But the fact of the matter is Alcorn plays in the West, right? They have to compete against the teams in the West. And based on what they have to compete directly against, they are predicted to win the championship by me and Coach Cole, not by Mr. Campbell.
Right. Let me say this. Well, if Florida A&M play Florida A&M win.
The media voted on that too, right?
Yeah, the media voted them number one in the West.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is that the media gave them number one over Prairie View, who is a defending champion that has just as much talent returning.
They don't have a quarterback. Prairie View doesn't have an established quarterback. They don't have an established quarterback
coming in from Houston. Yeah, supposed to be this 4-star coming from Houston.
Does he have any game footage? Does he have any game footage?
Okay. Okay, I'll give you that. Let me just get this other part in here. And this is going to be kind of controversial, but listen to me now. Now, again, Willie is hands down one of the greatest coaches that has come through Florida A&M in a long, long time. But I will say this much. One of the things that we had an issue with that I think is going to be very critical to Cozy is that as talented as we were not disciplined. This was an issue that went on for years and years and years and years of a team that really felt like I can still be 1st and 20 after a holding call and still get the yardage and still be able to score. And we saw this over and over again that we had guys getting personal fouls, repeated stupid things that would cost us. Oftentimes, we were lucky enough to get away with it. But I think one of the things that Cozy will do, I think you saw for years, we led the conference in penalty yards constantly. If Cozy can cut that down, which I think he will do because he don't play the radio, if he can cut that down now, I think you're going to see a much better team and a team ready to play. Last year's team was so good, we often would just sleepwalk through games and then go, oh, okay, let's turn it on and go win. And it was totally uncalled for. I think Cozy is the kind of guy that would kind of go like, listen, if you don't play, I'm getting somebody else out and watch you. I think that's going to be a major difference in how FAMU approaches the season compared to knowing that, okay, Willie is an offensive-minded guy, but we were still too undisciplined and oftentimes kept teams around because of our sometimes lack of, we'll jump out on the team and then we'll just cruise. That's why you see sometimes we'll go a whole second half only scoring 10 points after we scored, say, 25 in the first half. We just cruise. So I think you probably will, and that will make a major difference with Florida A&M. I'll hang up and listen to you guys off air.
Well, one of the things, Rocky, Coach Campbell, he had got Cozy on our show, so we really don't know what's.
Hey man, we haven't been on. Listen, we're back, so we might have Coach Cozy on next week. See that? We might have Coach Cozy on next week.
That he's a Florida guy, and from he coached over in Florida, and he got on that staff, and we kind of know. His track record, but we don't know his philosophy as a head coach. So that's why we're saying the things and making comments. But none of them have never been negative to say that he can't do it, But we do know the talent there. We do know he had a great recruiting class to come in. So all those things was in part of why they were picked number 2.
Let me ask you guys this. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm addressing this comment right here. Have the last 4 SWAC championships come out of the East?
5, because Alcorn was in the East.
Say that again. This guy's saying that we're saying that the West is better. Did he watch any of the SWAC championship game? Jackson State and Prairie View wasn't even no contest. Jackson State is Southern. It wasn't even no contest. I don't understand. I don't understand that. When you look at the numbers say the same thing. Did you see the time that when 3 of the teams, Southern, Texas Southern, Prairie View, they all was in the mix, and they lost to Mississippi Valley, who was the worst team in the conference and one of the worst teams at that time in the nation, and they lost to them going in the last 2 seasons. And then
definitely the worst team in the East, right?
Yeah. And then they get in the championship game and only cross the 50-yard line one time. Who is this guy?
PV, big PV alum, had a brand new baby going to go to Prairie View, has a podcast. But Coach, let me
call in and try to stand by them words.
No, what I'm thinking is, so the reason why I brought it up, it wasn't to, the fact of the matter is the West has the recent history of winning the SWAC, right? When you talk about, now I've only been watching the SWAC 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think Jackson State has lost to a West team since I've been watching. I don't think FAMU has lost to a West team since I've been watching. Right? And I think Alabama State lost to Alcorn and maybe PV, twice, once each time, once each time.
Right.
So what I'm saying is there is a dominance there. And I don't see how he can't see that there's a dominance there by the West. Even by just championships alone, Alcorn, there's a recent dominance there.
Right. Grambling has fell off, and they used to be a much stronger team, So the West, the East is the stronger of the two, consistently.
Rocky, let me make this point, and I think people gotta understand something. We got a lot of Prairie View people in this chat. I know all of them. They're big Prairie View fans. What this is? They feel this is their year. They want you all to put some respect on their name. They feel they look like I said they looked at the schedule, they looked at the teams. All the teams are down in the West, other than Alcorn. If you just being honest with you, and they're looking at it, they're saying, "Hey, we should win." So they're counting these numbers, they're counting these wins, and they're also looking at the schedule, saying, "Hey, FAMU comes up. If we can get that game, because it's late this season at our home, we should win at least 8 games." So I understand the enthusiasm, but here's the thing, PV guys, you gotta prove it, and that's why a lot of people want to see it. So my thing is, I did find it interesting. I understood what KJ FAMU KJ was saying about the same thing. How can Alcorn be picked with a new coach compared to Prairie View, who has a coach that has won conference championships? They have been to the SWAC championship game twice, 2 out of the last 3 years. So that's what it is. Yeah, go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry. I definitely want to take it over.
Go. I'm sorry. I was just going to wait till you were finished because I'm going to give them some numbers.
Yeah.
You can't get respect when you finish number 9 in offense in the conference. You can't get respect when you're averaging 19.5 points a game. Come on. You got Florida averaging 30, A&M 29, Jackson State 27. This is all on the west side. You know what I'm saying? You can't get respect like that. You can't get respect giving up 31 points a game. This last year now, Coach. This last year. You gave up 31 points a game. You can't, and I'm not trying to degrade you, but if I'm a betting man, Rocky, I'm not gonna go to the thing and I'm putting 100 on Prairie View, they're gonna win not with these numbers. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm trying to look
they got a big jump to do.
And I'm looking for this quarterback from Houston. Certainly Houston didn't let go of Donovan Smith, and now he's playing for Prairie View. Now, if Donovan Smith, the starting quarterback at Houston, University of Houston, if he's playing for Prairie View, that changes things. Is that who you guys have now?
Now, my understanding, they starting quarterback left, and now he's playing at Miles College, I think. He transferred to Miles.
So who did you guys get from the University of Houston, PV? Because if you guys got Donovan Smith, this guy is ranked in a mock draft. Would he have went from Houston, University of Houston, to PV?
With all that money out there? Come on.
I think the kid is Lucas Coley. I think that's the kid, Lucas Coley.
Okay. All right.
Well, you got to get them numbers up, for us to talk good about you. Now we talk about the numbers and all that. Our heart ain't in this. Maybe Coach Campbell, maybe a little bit. No. Again, we talk numbers.
I think you can make the argument based on coaching pedigree and consistency that Prairie View has a chance to win the West. But if I'm picking the team who had a plan during their coaching transfer, where the first day of signing day, they were able to sign 25 athletes on the first week of signing day, right?
Well,
early signing period.
Well, can I talk about the numbers from last year?
Sure.
They got one team that was up there where they had two. They had Grambling and they had Texas Southern. And we all know Texas Southern was averaging 26 points and Grambling was averaging 28. All right. After that, it was down. But you look at Alcorn, they averaged 22.4. Okay. Defensively wise, Alcorn was ranked number 4, 22.5. So Coach said Thomas, he's taking over a program that he's been a part of that's right there. They right there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go by the numbers as well as the pedigree of these coaches.
Again, I'm not saying PV versus everybody. I'm not saying that you guys didn't Prairie View, and again, my daughter goes to Prairie View, so I don't have any animus toward Prairie View at all. I'm gonna owe them some money in a few weeks. So, but my point,
Prairie View people are good people.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, you guys have met my most successful friends in life are Prairie View grads and doing very well for themselves. And if I ever needed anything, they'd be first people I'd ask. But anyway, that's beside the point.
You know how to do a bid, Coach. I followed them in 2009 to the SWAC championship game, and we was at the hotel, man. They sold the bar out. The bar just closed up. Wasn't nothing else there. Doesn't there to drink. They had and they treated old Coach Cole good, Coach.
I wish Prairie View culture supported football outside of homecoming, but that's a whole nother story in and of itself. But here's my point about Prairie View is that Prairie View was void of a quarterback, an established quarterback. I can't personally pick a team, right, that has struggled at quarterback. I'm talking about they struggled at quarterback, right? Even when they had returning guys, Jawan Pass, even when they had returning guys like Conley, right? Even when they struggled with those guys, I can't choose Prairie View without them having an established quarterback. Do y'all hear that?
Yeah, we do hear that feedback.
That's me.
Okay. I can't choose them knowing that situation. So that's why I defer to Alcorn, who had a quarterback on the roster that played last year, that's coming back. I expect them to win a very down West.
I want my band PV. Why don't you call it? See, this is the thing, Prairie View people. Hey, man, stand on your business. If get off the chat, the number's 254-300-6330. Call in and tell those guys, because I picked Prairie View to win the West. Tell those two guys why they're wrong. Because again, I like what I'm seeing from Prairie View. I like the fan engagement. I like that. Man, they are all in these chats. They're watching all these shows, and all they're going back and saying, "We've been disrespected. We've been disrespected. We've been disrespected." Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. But the bottom line is, and what Coach Cole is saying is, there's things that he's saying that, hey, Alcorn has answered the bell. They've answered the question. Now, can you guys answer it? But again, my thing is, I agree with you guys because I think the schedule sets up for you all to win the West. That's my thing. I think the schedule is. And
I'm gonna answer you. I'm gonna answer PV versus everybody. Who is Alcorn QB's quarterback? Rocky, the same guy who beat Jackson State last year. That's who their quarterback is.
Yeah. Again, when you look at the numbers,
the same guy who beat Jackson State. And what did Jackson State finish in the West?
In the East.
In the East, mean.
In the East.
They were second, right? They were three.
They were third. They were behind Alabama State. FAMU, Alabama State, and Jackson State.
They were three. Yeah. But come on now, they got a guy. They have a guy.
You know, when you look at the stats on defense, let's just talk about the bottom half. Pine Bluff, last, East. Texas Southern, last, East. Grambling State, 9, East. Alabama A&M, West. Mississippi Valley, East. West. There you go. All of them, except for Alcorn, is the one that put numbers up. So, hey,
I'm just letting y'all know the PV folks are gonna be. They are clipping this, and they're gonna be back here week 12 of the season. I'm just letting you know.
We're good, good, and then let them subscribe, and we're gonna be all right.
And hit that like button.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely, Coach. Before we get out of here, you know, I want to ask y'all these two questions. What did you guys think about Miles Crawley being named the potential offensive player of the year from Grambling? I have my thoughts, but I'd like to really hear what you guys think.
Well, I mean, he was transferring in.
No, he was there last year, Coach.
Yeah, no. I'm saying, he transferred. Then he came in, and he done some great things. I had a chance to watch him. I think he was one of the top quarterbacks last year, statistically wise as well. He does a lot of great things. He can extend plays and make things happen. They bringing in a new system, Coach Dooley's system. Talking with Coach Mickey Joseph, I think they got the system from LSU. So I think he had the numbers. I think Coach Dooley is known in the conference as being a great offensive-minded guy, and I know Coach Joseph because he worked for me at Alabama State, which is the head coach. So I look for all those things were positive in making him the number one choice or the preseason choice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rocky.
No, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
Well, I told everybody when this before. I said Miles Crawley, because of almost default, also that he was going to be the preseason SWAC player, offensive player of the year, and the first team, because we don't have returning quarterbacks. So that kind of helps him out. He returned. He did numbers. So again, what I'm just very interested in is, because he has that, I think that gives Grambling a great position. Again, that Jack State game is not a conference game. So even if they lose that game, it doesn't hurt them. I think Grambling is set up really well to make a run. That game in Dallas is going to me really determine what's going to happen in the West.
But really, it's been happening that way anyway for the last couple of years. It's either Prairie View or Grambling, and whoever win that game usually, go and Alcorn kind of fell off the last 2 years. And one reason, because Texas Southern kept beating Alcorn. I think they don't beat them 3 years in a row. So and that kind of hurt Alcorn each time they have beat them and knocked them out of the top two. So it's been Prairie View and Southern and Grambling.
Well, the issue I have with it is simply this. The SWAC player of the year the last 4 years I've been watching has been on the conference championship team. And if that's the history, and you guys have explained to me, that's pretty much the history of this conference, that the quarterback who is the best quarterback generally is the championship quarterback for all intents and purposes.
Same as the head coach.
Right? With Grambling predicted to finish third or fourth in the West, I don't see how Miles Crawley has a chance at winning the player of the year.
Well, him pick, that's just our predictions. And of course, our predictions is not going to line up with some people who's a Grambling night or Alcorn night or A&M night. Of course, all of it's opinionated, and we will see what happens. A couple of years ago when Texas Southern was scoring but giving up 40 and 50 points a game, the kid had a great year throwing the football, but they lost all the games. So I think it's a lot of variables in that. I see where you're going with that, Rocky. I think you have a valuable point, but we'll see, man. Sometimes guys that make preseason do not make the conference, all conference teams.
And that's why I'm saying, well, we know due to certain rules, Andrew Body wasn't a viable option for player of the year or all conference, because he's a transfer. Coaches couldn't vote for him, this, that, other. From what I understand, Coach Campbell, Mr. Campbell, if that's correct.
Yeah, it's the injury. He couldn't, because of injury. He couldn't be voted on the all SWAC team because of injury. He didn't have enough. They have a snap count.
And I want to just make it clear too. Andre Body is in perfect health. He could have finished last year playing at Texas Southern. It's a lot behind that as well. You know what I'm saying? Because he's that type of kid, that could come back from that. He don't have a problem working out and doing the things just right off the field as well as on the field. So, we don't want to send that wrong message out that, he gets hurt or he's a injury prone guy. I mean, I seen the kid take a beating and still got up and played. I seen him play against Baylor, quote unquote Division 1A, and was a monster. Matter of fact, he came in that game and did a lot of great things as a young
right here in Waco.
Yeah. So I don't want to put that out there, that he's an injured guy. That's not fair to the kid.
Hey, we got a caller. Caller, you're live on air. What's your name and where you calling from? Hello?
He ran. I must have answered this question.
Are you there, caller?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, man.
TV versus Morgan, the 14th, 2024. It's the Celebration Bowl. So just go ahead and book it.
Oh, PV Hey man, if you go to Las Vegas between now and the beginning of the season, and you place $100 on that, you make it win you $1 million. You know what I mean?
Maybe I don't. But you know what I'm saying. But that would happen. But yeah. Hey, listen. I know that Coach Cole. I know there's animosity within it, so I don't understand. Texas Southern ain't sniffed TV a long time. So I understand Coach Cole, you know what I'm saying? I'm with you, Cole. Hey, it is what it is, right? You just hoping and wishing that Texas Southern can do something against the Panthers. Not going to happen, but I understand where you're coming from, right? You know what I mean? Now I don't get Rocky. You know what I mean? I don't understand what Rocky's talking about because you said that, what was the research you had, Alcorn, over TV again?
The reason why I said it, because I was mistaken about them having their quarterback returning. They just have a guy returning that had some snaps last year. The guy who beat Jackson State is not returning, so I've been corrected on that. But I'm looking at. We had a conversation right here on the show with Coach Thomas, and after that show, they executed a plan on National Signing Day that was pretty impressive. They got some really good talent in the fold, and so I just think they had an overall better offseason than most schools in the SWAC. And with you guys losing the quarterback that I thought you guys had returning that was pretty good, PV needs a quarterback, and we just have to. It's a wait and see kind of thing.
What do you like about our quarterback previously that we had?
That when he came in the game in the SWAC championship, he was able to move the ball when Conley wasn't. And I was at the game.
What quarterback are you talking about right now?
Number 16.
He's a receiver.
I'm telling you, he played quarterback against FAMU.
I know who you're talking about. I mean, I know exactly who you're talking about. He is a receiver, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole different conversation, right? He's not even a quarterback, not a backup quarterback. He's an emergency quarterback, which is what he was in that FAMU game, in the championship game, right? So that's not at all that you will see at quarterback. That's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, my thing is, if you like Coach Thomas, if you appreciate Coach Thomas's personality, hey, listen, he got a lot of stuff going on in Alcorn. Just say that. That is what it is, right? That is what it is. I know Alcorn, man, they got pedigree because of what I've seen them do before. Then they had Fred there, right? They had it rolling before. Listen, just say that, right? But all the other stuff y'all be talking about, to be honest, y'all just be talking. All right? That just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just making it clear, that's what it is. I don't have a problem with people picking whoever they're going to pick because really, for me, it don't matter, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I already know what's about to happen anyway. But at the end of the day, my thing is like say what y'all saying and pick Alcorn based on reality, right? Not based on, they got this great QB. They ain't what QB y'all talking about? Because Aaron Allen ain't there. He gone. You know what I'm saying? So who are y'all even talking about, right? Most of the people that I'm hearing even talking about, TV ain't got no quarterback, can't tell me nothing about Alcorn quarterback, right?
Malcolm Tyler.
That can't be the reason. Right?
Malcolm Tyler's still there. What do you mean?
Who? Say again?
Tyler Malcolm. Tyler Malcolm is still there. The backup quarterback from last year.
I'm happy you can Google research, right? You know what I'm saying? But listen, nobody can tell me nothing about Tyler Maker. You feel me? That's all I'm trying to say.
No, but
nobody can tell me.
He's played. What are you talking about?
How many snaps he had?
If I'm not mistaken, he played this past year, and the year before.
Again, how many snaps he's had in Missouri? How many snaps he had at Alcorn?
I don't think nobody on this. I hope nobody on this show said that Alcorn was going to win because of their quarterback. Didn't nobody say that? We talked about the coach. We talked about how he has been in that program, and that program has been steady. He's been a part of it. If you know about Coach Thomas, he's one of the best recruiters in the conference. You can ask the other coaches. I ain't got to Google. I talked to other guys. So none of us made an assessment on Alcorn because of a quarterback. None of us have said that.
Listen, Coach Cole, all I'm doing is asking y'all the same questions based on what y'all are putting out there. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm just asking apples to apples. Coach Thomas has been there. Where Bubba been? He been at Prairie View for longer than Sarah been at when Sarah was crying at UAPB.
Right.
Prairie View, right? You know
Are you comparing? Are you comparing those programs?
I'm comparing what y'all was talking about. Y'all talking about the continuing program, pregnant that continuing program, right? Like you talking about not knowing what the quarterback is. You telling me you know who ROKU and what they got at quarterback. Like all I'm saying is that's the reason I'm picking it. That's the only point I'm making, right? Pick them because you're saying, man, I just believe Alcorn's pedigree. Because that's really what it is. That's the truth, right? It's not because this quarterback that they got versus TV, I don't know what they got. Y'all know nobody got a quarterback. That's the reality.
Who is PV's quarterback? My question. I'm still asking that question.
Yeah, I already told you who I think PV's quarterback is. I think it's Cam Peters. That's the guy who I think going to start. That's me, right? Other people like Lucas Cole. So again, it's going to be a QB competition, but for me, Cam Peters has time on the field. So you're talking about time on the field. Macon ain't got the time on the field that Peters got, right? You know what I'm saying? He got live to game snaps, right? You know what I'm saying? So you can't beat that at the end of it. So I am with you on that. But Tyler Macon ain't got that. That's just the reality. He ain't got that. You know what I'm saying? So that is what it is. But again, the other thing I was saying is East versus West. Y'all just need to state it like it is. FAMU was the best.
Hey, bro, are you on speakerphone or something? Because we can't understand you.
Yeah, you Muslim.
I got my headphones on because I'm eating my baby, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know, I'm multitasking. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I was saying state it like it is, right? FAMU was the best team in the conference. That has nothing to do with the East versus the West. Right? Jackson was the best team in the conference. That has nothing to do with the East versus the West, right? That's the reality of the situation, because when you actually look at the actual numbers of the games between both sides, like at the end of the day, last year it was even at East versus West. The two teams after FAMU, Jackson and Alabama State, they lost to the top two teams in the West. So how can we sit up here and just say, oh, the East is just better? No. FAMU was better than everybody else. That's actuality, right?
We agreeing with you. We said that the West was better than the East. I mean, the East is better than the West.
No, that's not what Rocky said, Coach.
Yeah, the East is better than the West. FAMU, Jackson, Alabama A&M have won all the recent championships. What are you talking about?
Again, so what I'm saying is we're talking about you can come and say, and what I can agree with is that the top team in these years, right, has been from the East. What I'm not going to agree with is to say, like how back in the say, oh, the Western Conference is better than the Eastern Conference, right? You know, that type of argument, right? That's just not true. Because again, if you go game to game, team for team, it's like, no, it's just that they had the top team in the conference those years. That's the end all be all.
Well, hold on. Let's get more to the point. So, Lionel, how about this? Tell us why Prairie View is going to win the West and why they're going to be SWAC champions. Let's forget who's better in the East or West. Talk about your team. What are you guys going to hang your hat on to be the Western Conference champions, the Western Division champions, and the SWAC champions? What do you guys have?
I like that, right? So let's get to it. One, first and foremost, right? I like the numbers that Coach Cole pulled up. I agree with you on all those numbers. First and foremost, right? We averaged literally 19 points a game. We had to work. We were the most unbalanced team all last year, right? All last year, 65% run, 35% pass. And the makeup of the team, it wasn't that we didn't have the receivers. It's not that we didn't have the playmakers to go make plays on the outside. No, it was a scheme. That's the end all be all throughout the year. We're looking and saying, man, how we continue to do the same thing, right? I mean, we know what's coming, so we can imagine everybody else. I know Coach Cole and all the coaches everywhere know what's coming too. Because if we as fans know what's coming, then we ain't doing nothing to help our situation. So first and foremost, right, what we did is we went out and got an actual proven offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? That's number one, first and foremost.
So Coach,
right?
we're talking about Coach Wheaton, right? We're talking about Coach Anthony Wheaton, right?
Yes, we're talking about Coach Anthony Wheaton, right? We went out and got an actual offensive coordinator. What's the past five? The actual offensive coordinator that's done it. You know what I'm saying? Not just a guy who's done it in the SWAC or in the MEAC or HBCU ball. This is a guy who's done it in the CEA, This is a guy who's done it in, I think Big South, right? You know what I'm saying? So this is a guy who won an award for his play calling, for putting his team, his playmakers in the best position, right? So, and he's a guy who's balanced, right? You look at what he did each year, 52, 48, 49, 51, right? So he's going to bring balance. So when you mention a guy like Shamar Savage, for example, you realize last year, this guy only had 29 targets. Most people across the board would say, man, Shamar Savage is one of those guys. How you only give him the ball 20 times, right? How you only throw him the ball 29 times is just crazy in the first place, right?
Time out, Coach.
Ain't that coach still there?
Time out. Let's talk about Coach Bubba McDowell.
Right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about his philosophy. And when I say talk about, I ain't saying talk negative. Coach McDowell is a quiet guy, his demeanor, right? He likes to keep the game close to his vest. He want to let the defense win the game because he's a defensive style coach. Can you agree with me? He's going to run the football. You understand? So hopefully this coordinator y'all come in, his style and Bubba McDowell's style could gel. Because sometimes when defensive coaches let the offensive coach run and he's turning that ball over, it's going to be a talk on Monday or on Sunday about trying to slow it up. And you got to have a trigger man. You got to have a trigger man. So yeah, the coordinator can be good. Don't get me wrong. And he can win some awards. But if he ain't got no trigger man, he's got to do what his trigger man do the best. So right now, we're saying we got a great offensive coordinator, but our trigger man is a little suspect. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree. One, this is my thing, right? The first thing I'm gonna say is you guys are saying we got a trigger man. This is the reality, right? Just say I don't know if PD got a quarterback. That would be more accurate, right?
Well, no. So I'm asking you, tell us about the quarterback. What? Okay, so you said, hey, Mr. Campbell, we've upgraded our OC. Now let's talk about the quarterback. So tell us why we should have confidence in your quarterback.
I got you, but Mr. Campbell, let me also make this point clear though, because I want to correct it, right? I want to come. You talk about being truthful all the time, right? I'm saying this is what's true. The truth is, y'all are saying TV don't have a quarterback, but y'all obviously haven't even looked into what TV had. Y'all don't know what TV even had in the room to say, man, I looked at this guy, I looked at this guy, I don't like him. See, that's a whole different conversation, Mr. Campbell, right? We're conceding. No, listen, we're conceding your point. We don't know Prairie View, you do. So now I'm asking you the question again. Tell us who's in the quarterback room that you're excited about that Coach Whedon is going to make him a player to win the West. Let's go. I already told you the guy that I think, right? And again, I think Lucas Kohler has such a live arm, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Obviously, he has no film. For me, I see him just like you guys see him. It's like, man, at the end of the day, coming from FBS, you coming from great programs, but man, you ain't got no film at the end of the day, right? That's just hard to lean on until you see it, right? That's not the guy I'm leaning on, right? The guy that I've seen that I say, man, I see what he's done, right? He has film that, anybody go look up is Cam Peters, right? And the numbers he put up, again, 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's good on any level, right? You know what I'm saying? So the guy who takes care of the ball, the guy who gets the ball to his playmakers.
Is that the guy from Campbell?
No. The running back is from Campbell. He's coming from Kilgore, JUCO. So again, the number 2 guy is in pass efficiency in JUCO. You know what I'm saying? Last year. So, it's a guy who makes guys more efficient, right? Go back and look at Heisman League numbers when he was at Campbell. Right. Go back and look at his numbers at before, because when you look at the completion percentage and how he puts guys in position, right, to keep the ball moving, right? That's the one thing I love, right? Is when you look at our offense last year in comparison and what the style that Whedon brings, right? It's just way more efficient. I just love the style of offense that he's going to be bringing. You know what I mean? So to me, when you pair those two things together, to me that gives you an opportunity to chance for people to make a lot of noise, right? Again, what we did last year was based on 19 points a game, and we gave up 31, but we won the West. First of all, that number sounds crazy in the first place.
Hey, we're gonna let Coach Cole have the last word on this one. I appreciate you calling in, Lon.
Put the prediction.
No problem.
What do you have, Coach?
I said put the predictions real quick.
Okay, I will.
Please put them up.
There you go.
Prairie View, Rocky, you got them 2. Coach got them 2. All right. You got them number 1. What are we talking about here?
You know, this is the beautiful thing, Coach. This is the beautiful thing. We got him ranked number 2, and he's not satisfied, right? But guess what? Right. They got Alcorn, and Prairie View has a date scheduled, don't
That's
they?
Right. That's
they
right.
have a date scheduled. We won't have to wonder about this. We won't have to speculate. We won't have to guess. One day it'll all be sorted out in the SWAC.
And let me say this. Let me say this too, and hopefully he's still listening. I would not be sitting in this chair if I didn't coach great quarterbacks. Sometimes I'll call plays and they made them work and they made them happen. So when you start talking about a quarterback coming in the first time and the offensive coordinator coming in the first time, it ain't no magic, believe me, because they got to get to know each other. And believe me, every guy that I work with, we were together at least for 2 years before we start putting up major numbers. There's only one kid, a kid named Derek Singleton, that actually transferred to a school that I was at, put up numbers, 29 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 2,900 yards in 9 games. So it takes some players. When you talk about a trigger man, you talk about he coming in and he just gonna blow everything up. That ain't happening.
And Coach, let's look at this. By that measure, Miles Crawley and the Grambling Tigers should be listed as the number one teams in the West if we took that. But the fact of the matter is, not only do players matter, but coaches matter. And you take the same coach that was literally ranked last in offense, right? As a head coach, you make him the offensive coordinator at Grambling, and you think you're going to get. And when you truly assess it, how can you take a guy who was had one of the worst offenses in the SWAC, becomes the offensive coordinator at Grambling, right? A team that also struggled last year, and you expect that team, the guy who couldn't get it done at one school, to get it done at another. All those things matter. All those things matter. It's not just one thing. It's not just the quarterback, PV. It's not just the quarterback, Lionel.
Yeah, I think a lot of times guys get caught up in, which is good. You know, they get caught up in the support. You know, I'm a Prairie View guy, and I'm a Panther, and I'm a Tiger, and we get caught. You know, we three, you know, we try to go with the facts that we know. You know what I mean? And you know, and it's our opinion, you know, so you know, we don't want to attack him because, you know, opinions ain't wrong or right. They just opinions. So appreciate him calling in. I hope he continue to watch our show and continue to call in. Yeah.
Like I said, I mentioned QBs because Prairie View, I had no idea. The guy I thought was going to succeed, Conley at quarterback, I read that he had left and no longer was on the roster.
Right.
And I seen him get busy against FAMU. You could say he was a wide receiver. You could say whatever. He was a emergency quarterback. But then we watched the game, Mr. Campbell. He was able to move the ball when the starting quarterback who played the whole season wasn't able to move the ball against the best defense, hands down, in the SWAC. Right? That's why I thought PV could have had a chance. But after looking over the situation and finding out that PV didn't have an established quarterback on the roster, I couldn't pick him to win the West. I just couldn't.
Well, you neither. Well, I don't think anything's wrong with you all's prediction. Again, the SWAC ADs and SIAD and coach, whoever votes, they picked Alcorn also. So you have to give some credence. So that's why I asked him. See, this is the thing why I want this show to be. If you're going to say my team is going to win, right? Tell me why your team is going to win. Don't say, I hope it's our time or whatever. I can tell you, in my opinion, why I think Jackson State, FAMU, Alabama State, Grambling, and why I picked Prairie View, not because of what he said, is because I think the schedule lines up for them to win. based off how the West is set up and the teams that they have to play. I think the teams are so close in the West. I think home field advantage will make a difference. And that's why I said the Grambling Prairie View game is going to mean something, because Miles Crawley can go to Dallas and light them up and say, hey, we only got to win one more game and we win the West. So there you go.
And then when you're talking about balancing the East versus the West, the numbers speak for themselves. You know, the champion has been coming out of the West every time, whether they be Prairie View, whether they be Southern, whether they be UAPB when A&M beat UAPB during the COVID spring league. The West, the East has been winning the championship.
And Grambling, I believe, won it the last time. And that was what, 2016, 2017?
Yeah,
like
16 and 17. They won 16, 17.
Yeah. Now, Alcorn, I think before they started splitting it up, they won one, I think, want to say in 18.
Well, Alcorn won because this is all the Celebration Bowl time, right? Alcorn won, then Grambling won back-to-back, then Alcorn went back-to-back.
Right.
That's how it was.
Okay.
Then Jack State won 2 and then us.
That's been 10 years ago. 8 to 10 years ago.
So basically, the only team in the West that has won as they were properly positioned was Grambling the 2 years that they won, and they were from the West because Alcorn was in the East during those other times.
Right.
And by those numbers, I think anybody can say there's a disparity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In championships, you know,
it ain't personal.
No, not at all.
Well, I just want the Prairie View people to answer the question. He said, "Hey," and with your coach, I think you made a valid point, and I love what you said. You're projecting something we don't know. You like your offensive coordinator. You like the potential quarterback he's going, because he said, "I like this guy, but this guy." So there's a lot of ambiguity there. And like you say, you get one guy, and then if it doesn't click, then we're in trouble. So I think, Coach, let's go back to the point, like you said, I've coached this. This is why I know this is important. That's why, and Coach, guess what? I'm going to say it again. That's why I keep talking about continuity. Continuity is important to win a championship.
Yes.
And he's talking about the guy from Campbell, right? The guy from Campbell, he ain't win no championships.
Now, I think he said he's the running back.
No. I think the offensive coordinator, isn't he from Campbell?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, he did come from Campbell. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he did come from Campbell.
Yeah. He from Campbell, so he ain't won nothing. You know,
he lost to Jackson State. what was it? 7-6, 16-8, something like that.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna have to call the head coach and get a word. I know the head coach over at Campbell.
No, like I say, man, people are serious about their teams. That's one thing we're finding. Like, these are all predictions, guys. The good thing about this will all be settled on the field, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. This will be settled on the field. We'll be proven right or wrong. Last year, I was proven right in the fact that I picked FAMU to win the SWAC. This year, right? We'll come back in a later show before the season kicks off, and we'll pick the SWAC champion. We have to get through, we have to see a little more before we pick the SWAC champion. But you guys pretty much know it's probably going to come out the West no matter what.
Out the East.
Out the East, my bad. Out the East.
All right.
Out the East, man. You got anything? Hey, Coach, Mr. Campbell, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Hey, man, this is what you're going to see. Great talk, great analysis all season. We're going to do it in a respectful way. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We want you guys to call in. And we will always do our best to know what we're talking about, making sure we give you accurate information, because this is what this is all about on this show with Coach Cole on the Coach's Corner.
All right, Coach, you got anything to say? You take us on out here every day, man.
Yeah, well, I don't want to forget the memory of Jacoby Jones, who was a great kid, a great man, and a great father. He was the only player in late years of football to get drafted third round to the Baltimore Ravens. Anytime that he was around you, he brought joy and fun and prosperity. He was a very likable guy. Me knowing him, he lived his life 100. And he was the epitome of live each day if it's your last. And that was his style. But we can learn from that as well. Black men, make sure you're going to get checkups. And I'm not saying Jacoby did, but make sure you go get checkups. Listen to your body. You know what I mean? Don't. We need to do more of that. Don't think that we're macho men.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, July 29th, 2024. Number one, the much anticipated and long-awaited endorsement given by former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama to Vice President and presumptive Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris arrived Friday morning. An almost minute-long video featured a phone call during which the Obamas informed the Vice President they were endorsing her campaign. Mr. Obama can be heard telling the Vice President in the video, "We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office." Number two, the Harris for President campaign publicly acknowledged that the vetting campaign for her running mate is underway. Among those being considered, Democratic governors Andy Beshear of Kentucky, Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, Roy Cooper of North Carolina, and several others. Bloomberg reports that Governor Shapiro and Walz of Illinois and Minnesota, respectively, and Senator Kelly of Arizona are at the top of her list. Number three, created by travel nurse Tequila Manning, Black Nurses Week is celebrated annually during the week of July 26th through August 1st. At the annual gathering, Black nurses are provided guidance, education, and resources to enhance their personal and professional lives. The event will allow them to excel and thrive in healthcare while being their authentic selves. Read more about It's Black Nurses Week in today's newsletter. Number four, activists declared Sunday, July 28th, a national day of mourning for Sonia Massey, the Black woman who was fatally shot by an Illinois officer July 6. Vigils were planned in cities including New York, Los Angeles, St. Louis, Washington, D.C., Kansas City, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Wilmington, Delaware, and Massey's hometown of Springfield, Illinois. Vice President Kamala Harris called the Massey family to express her condolences, and the Reverend Al Sharpton and the Massey family members will participate in a rally in Chicago on Tuesday. Number five, by definition, miracles are extraordinary and astonishing happenings that are attributed to the presence and action of a divine power. In layman's terms, miracles are unexplainable and supernatural things that happen in your life and the lives of others, and it had to be God. God performs miracles for two reasons: to strengthen our faith and to do good deeds. It's Miracle Monday, everyone. Read more about miracles in today's newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Embrace lifelong learning to boost your self-belief and expand your potential. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with Coy Malone, our social justice contributor, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
My name is James Jr., and I won $500 on the lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.